are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Star Wars: The Acolyte. My name is Justin, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for our special interviews is one special guy. He's a Jedi Master in his own right, Mr. Nate Shelton. How are you, my friend?
May the Force be with you, Justin.
Oh, Star Wars is back in our lives.
It never leaves.
I know.
It never leaves.
We always talk about how it's like, yeah, Star Wars Day is every day for us. So
Every day.
Yeah, I'm super excited for what we got in store for today and all week, really. If we think about it, with premiere week for Star Wars: The Acolyte, the series is hitting Disney Plus as of tomorrow, June 4th. The first two episodes are going to be dropping at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on Disney Plus in the States and in Canada. I'm not sure what time in the UK, but I'm sure if you can do the time convergence thing and you'll figure it out. But as part of our coverage for that, Nate was fortunate enough to sit down with two of the cast members from this fantastic show. A huge shout out to our friends at Disney Studios Canada for setting this up. We're always so humbled to be included and invited to be part of these things, and Star Wars, especially, given how much it means to us. And you'll be able to tell from these interviews that it was a good time. It was a good time. Nate, why don't you let our lovely listeners know who you had the opportunity to chat with?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to be invited to interview Amandla Stenberg, who plays May and Osha in the series, and Manny Jacinto, who plays the oh so mysterious Chimere. I'm a huge fan of both of these folks, whether it be Amandla from her part in Bodies, 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 which if you haven't seen Bodies, 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 go watch Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's a very fun time. Also,
Bodies,
involving
Bodies. Just
Bodies, Bodies,
it.
Bodies.
Just
It's
sounds
fun to
good
say.
Yeah,
it's fun to say.
Yeah.
That's a movie that also involves a mysterious murder. And then, of course, Manny, who plays the lovable Jason Mendoza.
Awesome, man.
The Good Place.
He's hilarious in that show. He's hilarious in that show.
He's so funny in that show, and it's you talking to him in this interview. It's like
it's two different people for sure.
It's two different people, and I get that. Obviously, they're acting
for sure.
But it's just getting to talk to them in general was such a wonderful, delightful thing. But to talk to them about Star Wars was even better. It was even better.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I think these interviews were tons of fun. A true sort of geek out. Well, you know what? Let's just let our listeners enjoy. Without further ado, here's our interview with Amandla Stenberg and Manny Jacinto.
What's your favorite creature on the shirt?
Oh, I gotta go with Jabba. I think.
Yeah,
I'm a Jabba
I like
fan.
the purple Jabba.
Yeah,
You're a Jabba fan? No one ever says that.
Really? Oh, come on, he's cool. He's cool. Amandla, Manny, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me on the Geekcentric podcast. My name is Nate. How are you both doing today?
Good.
Great, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we're on a whirlwind adventure,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
Because it's Star Wars.
Yes.
Well, I want to start with, just that. It must be wild for both of you joining the Star Wars world. But Amandla, like yourself, I'm also a prequel kid. And
Finally.
for me, it was my dad who introduced me to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I wanted to start there for both of you. You know, I kind of think of my dad as my Star Wars person. What was your Star Wars person?
Well, my sister is the person who introduced me to Star Wars, and so all my earliest memories of it are with her. But I kind of want, not to shade my sister, but I think my Star Wars person has now become Leslie.
Wow.
Because she is the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. And we could just spend all day on set talking about lore and I could throw any thought or conspiracy theory out to her and she would catch it and we'd have so much fun. Particularly in pre-production, that was basically our job, to do that all day.
You're sending Wikipedia articles back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think Leslie will forever be our Star Wars person slash captain. I mean, but if I'm taking it back to like when I was a kid, this is weird to say, but my dentist is my Star Wars person just because, and weirdly in association, just because at his office he had the N64 Pod Racer game. And I would just constantly play that every time I had to go to the dentist. And yeah, it was my favorite N64 game. And it really, solidified the love for the prequels.
I love that. Canadian dentistry. I played a lot of Aladdin on the SNES at my dentist, so I get
Nice.
that. This show continues to highlight the theme of duality in Star Wars storytelling. The light side, the dark side, the rule of two with the Sith. For each of your characters, how do you find that this show approaches duality differently than previous Star Wars?
Well, I am two people.
Yes,
that's
Start
different.
with that. But I really love how the two characters balance each other. I think that they, or at least the way I approached it, from what I saw in Leslie's writing, is that there was this flux, this push and pull of the two that very much reminded me of the light and dark side of the Force.
Obviously, when we speak of the duality in Star Wars, we tend to think about the light side and the dark side. And I think what's interesting with my character is that he's trying to appease and manage both. He's trying to figure out a way around, pleasing both sides to try and, make his own path to create his own thing. And that's primarily where Chimera lies, is that he's pretty much just a lone wolf, and he's not really about either or side. It's just really about his own self-mission.
I think
Both
there's
of-
a lot of gray Jedi code in the show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in Star Wars, I think right now that's a big thing right now. The
Sure.
gray side.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
which people have different opinions about, Like
Yeah.
some original fans are really adamant about the show just ascribing to the idea that George Lucas has spoken about before, which is that the balance of the Force is the light side. But I see a lot of people who are getting into Star Wars or are prequel fans, for instance, and all this new content, all these new streamers, this question of like what the Force is and what the balance of it means coming into play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lastly, I wanted to kind of end on a funny question, a silly question, if you will. Both of you have just such immaculate fashion sense.
Oh, thanks.
I like at both premieres, your drip was incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thanks.
And so kind of bringing it back to Star Wars, I wanted to ask for each of you, if you could maybe wear or take the costume of any character or any outfit from the Star Wars universe, maybe to wear to something like the Met Gala. What are you rocking?
Oh.
I mean, I love that Padme costume that you rocked, that Star Wars celebration. If there was like
That's
a
what you're
men's version,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gender bend it all over the place.
hell yeah.
I would go with Padme too. I mean, I think Padme is one of the most fashionable characters in Star Wars universe. But I would do. I thought about that one.
Yeah, the Amidala.
The Amidala, but I think I would go with the pink and blue flowing gown.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like chiffon. It's sort of the most romantic dress in her scenes with Anakin.
Yeah.
I would go with that one.
Well, both of you would continue to look excellent. You're excellent in this show, Amandla. You are. There's a moment in episode 2 where you got tears in your eyes, and somebody calls your name out, and you turn around, and it's so good. And I gotta say, Manny, you are forking incredible as Chimera.
Oh, thanks, mate.
And I got my eye on Chimera. Something
Keep an eye on it, yeah.
suspicious there. But thank you both so much, and may the force be with you.
Thank
May the
you.
force be with you for Light Life.
And we are back. Again, as I was ending off there, it kind of felt like a bit of a geekier conversation in and around Star Wars, which I
Yeah.
generally appreciated. That's who we are, and I especially loved their response to who's their Star Wars person. I think they've both collectively have realized that Leslie has really been this super fan that has immersed them in this galaxy and has sort of become their shepherd as the way they understand more and more about their characters in relation to the greater universe. So I love that. I love that it's clear that Leslie is a super fan of Star Wars.
Well, to hear them both choosing Leslie as their Star Wars person, knowing someone like Amandla, who is a self-professed Star Wars fan already, to hear that Leslie has become her expert on set.
Mhm.
I know Leslie's leading the series, but anytime I've heard the cast in any of these interviews talk about her, they talk about her with such reverence, such respect. To hear, around the internet that, Leslie knows what a Zygerian is and had to put one in the show, or knows what a Thelan is and had to put one in the show. It's just one of those things where it's like, respect earns respect. So Star Wars
Mhm.
fans, the fans that know those deep cut references, they get it. And speaking of deep cut references, I do want to just quickly shout out. I'm very embarrassed to have said that Jabba the Hutt was my favorite character on my shirt. I was a little nervous. Okay, give me a break. I should have said Max Rebo. I don't know what I was thinking. But whatever. We live and we learn. If I ever
That
get a
low
chance
key
to
was
talk to
her
them
making
again.
fun of you, being like, "You Jabba the Hutt's your favorite." Nobody
Yeah.
ever says Jabba the Hutt's your favorite. But yeah, I really loved Manny's response around the concept of duality and how he sees it in relation to his character. You can tell he's very thoughtful with the decisions that he's made, not just as a character, but as what he's sharing. Because I think obviously he doesn't want to give away spoilers, and he doesn't want anything to kind of get taken out of context, but I think we can expect a lot from his character in this show, and the way he's kind of fleshed him out in his little description there, it kind of gets me excited to see more of him through the show.
He's confident in the way what he's talking about, of what he can talk about.
Yes.
But you can definitely get the sense from this interview and every time I've heard him talk about Chimere, of just like he's trying so hard not to spoil things.
He's just not trying to say anything that can be misconstrued. I think that's the biggest thing too, right?
Yeah.
You can get very excited about things, and I think he's a very thoughtful person, and I think that that's really great. And you have Amandla, who's just super passionate about all of this, right?
And to hear Amandla bringing up the gray Jedi, I respect that while Leslie has talked about respecting and honoring what George created, and making sure to follow that, and how she really does want to pay attention to that. I also I'm really happy to have heard Amandla sort of calling the fans out a little bit in certain areas of the fandom where some people say, well, it has to be exactly what it was, but how no, this new Star Wars and these new Star Wars stories are exploring the Force in a new way, and understanding that it's not just the light side of the Force. It's not, the balance isn't just found on one side. It really is in that gray. And so it's cool to sort of hear that directly from somebody behind this and in Star Wars, because it just sort of proves that, like, yeah, we're gonna get to continue to explore what the Force is, what it means, and it's not exactly what we thought about, which is exactly what this series is.
Yeah, it's new territory for Star Wars. It's a whole new era for them to play in, and to kind of take another look at this idea of duality, light and dark, Jedi and Sith, in this era, which I think is refreshing, and it's unburdened by anything that's come before it, other than obviously some of the High Republic literature that has come out. But that said, we don't want to get in too much of a discussion around the show, or else you wouldn't listen to our lovely spoiler-free review that will be dropping tomorrow ahead of the show's release.
Yeah, and I, just really quickly before we go, I could talk about this show. Both of us could continue to talk about it forever. But really quickly, I did want to ask you, Justin, because I brought it up to them, what they would want to wear from the Star Wars universe. Have you ever put any thought as to what you would wear from a galaxy far,
Well,
far away?
when we were coming up with the questions, and I was like, you dropped that one in the note, and I was like, it's interesting. The first thing I thought of was uh, Bail Organa.
Yes.
Something like classy,
Ooh.
distinguished, still feels dressy.
Yeah.
It can be a little more moody too, but just something of that regal style
Yeah.
is probably what I would probably pick for
Okay.
myself. How about for
I
you?
was I,
What would you wear? Would you wear the
I
skin
was
of a Wookiee?
thinking. No, not. I already have the skin of a Wookiee on me. I don't need to. I don't need to get that and put it on.
Okay.
No, I would. I think all those. There's a beloved sequence in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, on a planet that everyone loves called Canto Bight. Uh, and I think all those little freaks, they all look so dashing. Maybe something from there. But if I was to go really specific with it, I think I'd go Perrin Firtha. Yes, I had to look up his name because I didn't remember. But Perrin from Andor, he's Mon Mothma's like dumb husband. But I remember when we watched that show, we couldn't stop talking about how incredible he looked. Like his drip is incredible. He's got the man bun samurai hair thing going on, and I'm just like 100%. Like I've always said, I wanted to live on Coruscant. If that's the fashion on Coruscant, oof, let's go. Let's go.
Absolutely. That is it for this special Behind the Geeks episode 4, Star Wars The Acolyte. If you enjoyed this interview, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, if you want to watch this interview along with many other interviews, Star Wars related and non-Star Wars related, well, you can do so at youtube.com/Geekcentric. You can find all our interviews there. As I've been saying, we have more coverage for Star Wars The Acolyte coming. Spoiler-free review tomorrow. We also have a new watch club starting. That watch club is going to be dropping after this 2-episode premiere on Disney Plus. So you have that to look forward to, where we really get into all of the fun stuff of what we love about Star Wars, where you can really get into the spoilers and talk about everything from that happened in those first 2 episodes, setting up what promises to be a very exciting season of Star Wars storytelling. Be sure to follow us on our socials. You can find us on Twitter or X at GeekcentricYT and on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric. But yes, that is it for this special Behind the Geeks. Nate, great job as always, and thank you for joining me for this special episode. And as we say,
I was going to say, may the force be with you out of habit. Love ya.
peace.